Hey there, it's your co-host Sid.
And this is your co-host, Sharfuz. We know that job search is a difficult process. It can be frustrating, it's hard to network, find the right fit for yourself, and it can be a very lonely journey.
Here at Careers Uncorked, we're trying to bridge that journey and have amazing conversations with people.
And we want to welcome you to our episode today.
Hey Sharfuz, we're back to Wednesdays.
Yes, Wednesdays are the new Saturdays for us. I miss doing this on Wednesdays, Sid. But hey, what's the better way to get back on Wednesdays than the amazing guest we have today?
Very true. I remember the first time I met Craig. It was at the University of Rochester, and he's a proud alumni. So I'm really, really excited to have this group together right now. I'm just really excited for this session.
Yeah, he's one of those legendary entrepreneurs that we heard a lot about. I was super inspired by. Luckily, we got a chance to meet him. And he is a very friendly guy, a very friendly founder. And he loves people, toothpaste, and people a lot. And I said people twice, like his LinkedIn. So definitely, we have a lot of questions to ask him. So let's bring him to the stage and let's kick this off.
Hello.
Hey, Craig. Friendly founder, huh? Is that what people call you?
That's they call me many things. I have a U of R nickname that some people still only refer to me by. So yeah, I have many names, many titles, but founder, friendly founder. Yeah, that's it.
That is awesome. I think your profiles was one of the first few profiles that I looked at on LinkedIn, and I was like, wow, this is so amazing. It's super casual, and I really like that aspect of it being very approachable to people. And friendly founder just does a great job at sort of describing your personality right there.
Oh, thank you. And I'm a big fan of alliteration. As much as I love people, I love alliteration. So friendly founder just had this nice sing-songy kind of a vibe to it. It just worked. So yeah, thanks for having me and for checking out my profile. Great.
Most definitely. I'm going to go back in there and drop you an endorsement after the session too.
Friendliness, Craig. Craig.
Great.
5-star on friendliness. That's awesome. Craig, I guess as we kick off, right, we know a big deal about your professional journey and some of these amazing successes you have. But before we go there, we kind of want to know, like, who is Craig as a person? Like, what do you do? Like, what do you do for fun? What do you do when you're not, building Hello products? Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I'm dreaming of my days of garbage plates and Sal's Birdland and all sorts of fabulous things like that. I love music. I originally, the big draw for me for the U of R was Eastman School of Music. So I love music. I would not say I'm a musician, but I'm surrounded by guitars and drums and keyboards and things. So I love music. I'm married to a fellow U of R alum who I met in school, but then didn't sort of like reconnect with until many years later in London, of all fabulous places. And wow. And I've got 2 awesome kids and a dog and 3 foster fail cats. So just what I would tell people is foster. We've got a lot of people that are staying inside right now, which is a very good thing. There are a lot of animals who could use some love. So you benefit, the animals benefit. So get out there and foster if you're able to do it. It's a very rewarding thing. So that's me. I'm like music is my thing, and art in any form, not just music. So yeah, I love design and storytelling and anything creative. We're only here for so long, so the idea that we can make things is really, a very, very important and cool thing. Whether that's products or, anything you could make. I like making things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's so awesome to hear, Craig. I was looking at your LinkedIn, like I mentioned earlier, and I saw that you graduated from the U of R. This is back. When did you graduate from the U of R? Let me ask you that.
1887. I look damn good. No, I graduated in 1980. 1987 was a fabulous year. And I came close to not graduating. It was so close. I had to fulfill my language requirements. And I took a I took a test without taking the class, and it's a miracle, but I passed. I took the test with I guess like with headphones on. You could take sort of an oral test, and I have a good ear. And I'd taken Latin in high school, and I passed my Spanish proficiency without taking all the required Spanish classes. But it was very close. Nothing I'm proud of, but something I will share now as a soon-to-be 55-year-old. Yes, it was close. It was close. But yeah, graduated in '87, economics degree, changed majors a few times along the way, but loved it and loved the U of R. And feel very fortunate to have been able to attend and make friends for life, including my fabulous spouse. So there you go. Good stuff.
Most definitely. Yeah. So I'm going to hand it back to Shafuz. I think he's the college guy. He's really going to dig in deeper into what you were like. So off to you, Shafuz.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, Craig, just on that LinkedIn note, I think when I saw your description on your FAR, I really related because you mentioned like I skipped more classes than I should have, and I'm like, man, I could so relate to that.
Yeah.
So that's
don't tell too many people. Don't tell too many people. Yeah. A lot of the learning happens outside of the classroom. That's the way I was looking at it.
Totally. I totally get that. So one thing I'm curious is that, so when you were graduating and going back at that time, what was your mindset when you were graduating college? Did you sort of know what you wanted to do? Did you have what you wanted to do career-wise? Like,
back then, so I'd switched majors a couple of times, and I became an economics major, which I think Malthus called economics the dismal science, and I think Malthus was a genius. I was not in love with economics, but back then, in the late '80s, there were no classes on entrepreneurship. There were no entrepreneurship groups. I started along with a good friend of mine, the Association of College Entrepreneurs branch at the U of R. We were the only two members. We started it together. It was called ACE, which now is called CEO, which stands for Collegiate Entrepreneurship.
College Entrepreneur, yeah. I know about that. That's really cool.
Yeah, so it started out, it was called ACE, Association of Collegiate Entrepreneurs. I think they were based in like Kansas City, I think. And anyway, this was like pre-internet. You couldn't just like easily like zip online and find things. Like it took some effort. So we found this thing. We set up a charter at the U of R. He and I were the only members. I became an economics major because I thought back then, because I really liked business, and that I use air quotes because that just meant, like, being an entrepreneur. I was a collegiate entrepreneur. I had businesses in high school. I had a business in high school that ported over to college with me. I had a food business where I rented space from the U of R and had two locations, one in Susan B. Anthony and the other in Gilbert Basement. If they're still called Susan B. Anthony and Gilbert, I believe they are.
They are.
And I had fresh food delivered every day at 5:30 at night, and we were open from 9:30 at night till 2:30 in the morning. I had a student carpeting business. I bought bulk carpeting that I custom cut to dorm rooms. I got the specs for all the dorm rooms, and I would charge more if we brought it to your dorm room, less if you came and picked it up off the back of a truck during a specific delivery window. All I did was basically, it's like I made money in college. It was incredible. So I knew I wanted to be a quote unquote business person, but really, I really wanted to do was be an entrepreneur. And in fact, I took out a book from the library, and I remember being amazed that I was the first person to crack the spine on this book, and it was how to write a business plan. And this is in like 1984, maybe. And I took out this book, and I wrote a business plan in like 1984, as one does. Why not? I was, all of, how old was I in 1984? I was born in 1965. So, as a very young man, I decided I was going to write a business plan. I had an idea to start, a very small thing. It was a television network, and it was a cable network all around things that go. And I called it Go TV. And I had this idea that back then, every publication, every print publication, you have to remember this is before the worldwide interwebs. I made this comparison in my mind that everything that was available in print had a television counterpart. So if you read Rolling Stone magazine, that became MTV, or any rock and roll kind of music magazine. If you watched the nightly news, that was the newspaper, right? So there was a daily publication, but there was a requisite counterpart of daily television. If you watched, if you got Bon Appetit magazine, there was Julia Child teaching you how to cook on TV. Like everything had a parallel. But if you read Sports Illustrated or the Sporting News or anything about sports, there was ABC, Wide World of Sports. There was ESPN. So everything had a counterpart. But if you read Car and Driver, if you read Yachting Magazine, if you read Motorcycle World, if you read Road and Track, anything, there was nothing. There was nothing for you on TV. You could maybe watch a race, like, the Daytona 500 or something, but there was nothing for you. And I remember that MTV, the genius to me of MTV, apart from the cultural relevance of MTV, especially at that time, was that all their content, for the most part, existed already and someone else paid for it. Like basically they were showing music videos. Did MTV pay for those? No. They paid for like a VJ to stand there and be like, hey, I'm a VJ. And let's watch the latest video by so-and-so. Their production values were relatively modest, and the costs were like, also extremely modest. And the content was paid for by record companies who made these videos. Like the Beatles had music videos. Why did the Beatles have music videos? There was no cable TV. There was no YouTube. Like record companies paid for these, and they would share them with other executives at other companies to try to showcase their artists. So all this stuff existed. And guess what? Car companies and motorcycle companies, they all had videos that they produced for like auto shows that they would show at these giant events and then never show them again. And they'd sit in a vault. And I was like, I could get all this amazing content, not pay for it. I could probably get cable time. And I could probably charge lots of money for advertising around this stuff because a lot of people have cars. And a lot of people love their cars, and a lot of people subscribe to these car magazines. So I called it Go TV, and I wrote this business plan in like 1980 something. As a kid, I should probably launch that because it still doesn't really exist. So if anyone's watching and they really want to launch a cable network with me all around things that go, let me know. We can talk. But so that's what Rochester was like for me. I was always dreaming of things, and I listened to a lot of really great music there. I was a DJ. I wrote music reviews for the Campus Times, and because I love to write, I love anything again like creative or artistic or where you're producing some output, especially if it's around culture. I love that. And the greatest thing about writing music reviews for the Campus Times was I got free records. I got free music. This is, again, you got to go back in time. People had to actually buy music very differently than they do now. You don't have a Spotify subscription in 1985 and 86 and 87. So anyway, I got free music. I got it ahead of most people because they were, albums that were sent to media outlets. So they would, get reviewed and get press. So it was very cool to get music ahead of people before release dates for albums. And anyway, that's it. I U of R, baby. It was magic. It was great.
Wow, that's really the Meliora spirit right there. It was very that's super inspiring. You definitely were like the entrepreneur, right? Like taking up.
You're born this way, to quote Lady Gaga. Just because we have so much in common, Lady Gaga and I. So. I didn't think about it. I didn't think about, I'm an economics major. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. It was the only thing that was like close to anything related to business. So my plan, and I use the term plan very loosely, was that I would get a job at I'd go to an investment bank because that was sort of a very to use a word, enticing and interesting and seemingly sexy way to go back then. And I thought I'd be an analyst for 2 years and work really, 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 really hard and then go back to business school. And I never did. I got a job offer to work at an investment bank and as an analyst in a training kind of program. And even that story is funny, but maybe I'll save that for another Uncorked. But anyway, I got this gig, and I was very excited. And I had one suit, my graduation suit, and I needed to basically have more than one suit to start at my job, and I wasn't going to have enough time to start the job and like get things tailored in enough time. And I was like, I can't wear the same suit every day for like a week, so I was able to push my start date back, so I could like basically have more than one article of clothing. And a friend of mine who was a year younger than I was from high school, a high school friend, he was going to finish his senior year of college, and I had graduated. And he literally called me pleading, just out of his mind, you have to get your mother's car and drive me into New York City with my brother-in-law now. And I was like, dude, what? Like, I can't do that. He's like, you have to do it now. And I said, I can't do it. You know, I have to go buy suits. I have this job that started. And he said, listen, my brother-in-law got me this job on the commodities exchange, on the floor of the commodities exchange. My brother-in-law is the managing director of the exchange. He got me this job. I totaled my car. I promised him a ride. His car's in the shop. You have to take me, like, get your mother's car. And by the way, you'll never get to see the floor. I'll sign you in. You'll get to see the floor. And I was like, I have to go buy a suit. Like, I got to go. He said, there's a Brooks Brothers across the street. Get your ass to my house and, like, get your mother's car. And you're driving me and my brother-in-law in. It's a true story. Like, you can't make this stuff up. So I picked them up. I drove them into New York City, and my friend signed me onto the floor of the commodities exchange, which is this giant room with people yelling and screaming, jumping in pits and spitting on each other and doing crazy things. And it was, it was very interesting. Right. And he said, oh, hold on a second. And he wrote something down on a piece of paper. He clocked the piece of paper into like some time stamp thing, walked over to this pit of screaming crazy people, came back like 30 seconds later, clocked the piece of paper back in, circled something, and he's like, I just made $800 in like 3 seconds. You know, I'm like, what? He's like, I bought this and I sold this, and I bought it here and I sold it here and I made $800. And I was like, what? And he said, I don't even know what I'm doing. You need to take my job because, like, you're more of a business person than I am. You always businesses in college. You need to take my job. I'm going back to finish my senior year of school, and you graduated. So he introduced me to the people that he had this summer gig for, and they were very nice, and they're like, what's your story? He's going back to school. What's your story? And I said, oh, I've taken this job at this big investment bank, Drexel Burnham Lambert, that now doesn't exist. And they literally said, listen, you should take your friend's job. Like, he's leaving, and like, we're going to need somebody. And he seemed like a very entrepreneurial, outgoing young man. So I pushed back my start date at Drexel thinking they're a big bank. They'll always be there. It's fine. And I took my friend's job. He went back to college. I took his job as a clerk on the floor of the Commodities Exchange in New York. And Drexel Burnham, poof, blew up. So it was the greatest move ever that I did not take the job. Not that, things might have turned out the exact same way. But I took my friend's job, and this is the really fun part. I had an apartment in New York City that I'd leased. It was an illegal sublet of an illegal sublet of an illegal sublet. And it was in the West Village, and it was an incredible apartment, and, 1-bedroom apartment, and no joke, it was $650 a month, which is incredible. Yeah. And where it was incredible. But here's the best part. My take-home pay after taxes, $635 a month. After taxes. So I was net negative $15, but I had all this money saved up for my fabulous Rochester businesses, right? So all I had was, and the apartment, by the way, was furnished, which was awesome. I had a guitar, I had some headphones, I had an amplifier, I had like 10 CDs. People had CDs back then. They were very cutting edge. And and I weighed like 80 pounds less than I probably do now. No, maybe not that much. But, I ate one slice of pizza a day because there was a pizza place where one slice was like 2 slices. It was gigantic. Wow. And for like $3, you could get, like 2 slices and, like a soda. Wow. And I would eat that once a day. That was it. And I was net negative $15 a month, right, for my take home pay. And I uncovered all this arbitrage on the floor of the commodities exchange because I'm just wired funny and I'm very curious. Yeah. So a lot of what I was involved with trading wise, I was just a clerk. I wasn't doing any trading myself. Yeah. And because, I'm 21, I'm out of school. The gig was to be a clerk, like clock in pieces of paper and talk to people on the phone and learn hand signals and quoting the market and things like that. So anyway, I'm just curious, and this particular market was a U.S. dollar index. None of it really made sense to me. I'm like, what's an index? It's like there's a contract, a futures contract, but what's an index? And it's like, well, the index is, it's a U.S. dollar versus all these other currencies, and I'm very curious. And I said, well, they trade all those other currencies. So if you really want to make a basket, you can kind of make your own basket. And those other currencies are very actively traded, and this thing is not so actively traded. And basically, I built a spreadsheet on my Mac that I bought at the Mac store at the U of R, and I uncovered all these mispricings. And I had a friend who was in the marketing department for the Commodities Exchange, and he went to Columbia and was an English major, and we would talk about what guys talk about when they're 21 and 22 years old. We talked about music and movies and maybe a book or two, and and arbitrage. So I was telling him about all this stuff that didn't make any sense to me, and then I felt uncovered all this mispricing. And one day he called me, and I was on a speakerphone on his side, and he's like, "Hey, Craig, I'm in Chicago with these people," and I told them about our arbitrage, and they're asking me like, "Hey, if we gave you some money, could you go execute against this? Could you take advantage of these discrepancies?" And I said, "I better call my partner Craig and get him on the phone. So Craig, what do you think?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course we could do it." I had no idea. They gave us this group in Chicago gave us $400,000. Not to be gauche. I'm bringing this up because it's like, holy shit. I was net negative $15 a month, right? I was $650 rent, $635 a month take home pay. What if we gave you $400,000? Could you do it? Sure. So fast forward, this is again 1987. My friend quit his job on the exchange and moved to Chicago. I became the youngest member of the New York Cotton Exchange and the Financial Instruments Exchange. Wow. I became an options market maker. Anyone who bought or sold puts or calls on the U.S. dollar futures. I was the other side of their trade. If I was in the bathroom, they couldn't trade. If I was at lunch, they had to wait. It was crazy. It was very thinly traded, but there was no one to make a market. So I was doing that. I did all these, financial things, and I uncovered all this arbitrage. And I ended up starting a company on the floor, not just to do this trading, but to execute trades for other people. Because when I was a clerk, because I love people so much, I would really, truly watch out for them. And if I saw something, I would say something, and I would tell them, and I could sort of keep track of all these different people's, what I thought might be their positions. I didn't know, but I had, I thought there were things that they would want to be aware of. And there were people who literally called the exchange when I quit who said, "I'm not going to trade your contract unless I can talk to Craig. Where's Craig?" Which was amazing. So the exchange was very good to me and was like, how can we help you? Can we help you set up an ARB station, a phone rack on the floor to take orders from people? I mean, the exchange was very, very, very generous with me because I was very different. They used to put me on CBS Evening News with Dan Rather to talk about the U.S. dollar, and I was a quoted source for Bloomberg and Knight Ridder. When I was very young, because I was very passionate and I could talk a little bit about technical things, but also fundamentals. I love people. There are very, very common fundamental things that really are true for everything and everybody, and that's why I love arbitrage. And I think I'm an arbitrageur, even of culture, right? So this is like a big transition from trading to brands. But and I did other trading things. I traded on the London Metals Exchange for what became Citigroup for about 5 years. I traded London, Sydney, and Singapore. I hated it all. I mean, I really didn't like it for a whole host of reasons. The hours were bad, sure, but there's a lot of money in money, but money has never been my motivator ever. And there were a lot of people that were very greedy and did some things that I really felt were not ethical. So I was very happy to get out of trading. And I've always loved design, and I've always loved products. And in fact, in Rochester, while I was a student, I had gone, I didn't go abroad like a semester abroad, but I'd taken a trip to Europe, and all I did was go to drugstores. I went to Boots in the UK every chance I could get. And I would see all these really cool products that we have in America. And in college, I wanted to start a company just importing really cool things from UK, very everyday basic things, shampoo and just very, daily use items. I love basic things because I think everyone, like everything should be art. Everything should be beautifully designed. And I find it fascinating. Andy Warhol took a Campbell soup can, right, and made that art. So I love very basic things made a little more, thoughtfully and beautifully. And we decided a long time ago to make some changes. And I started a company. I left trading. I started a company. It's another crazy story that I won't bore you with, but I raised a bunch of venture capital money. I moved to San Francisco. The company was acquired before we launched. It wasn't a great story. Nobody got hurt. Nobody lost money. It was fine, but it never became what I wanted it to be. And but it was a great set of lessons, right? I learned a lot. I raised a lot of money. I hired a lot of people. The company was acquired by a big public company. That alone was fascinating. But it really wasn't about brand or design, things I really, really love. And my old CFO said, I met this young guy. He likes all the same stuff you do, brand and design and culture. And this is a lesson I will pass on to my fellow yellow jackets out there. And those of you who may not be yellow jackets, take every meeting, say yes to every meeting, have no expectation, have no agenda, just be decent and be a good listener and say yes to things, obviously only healthy, ethical, positive things. And anyway, my old CFO said, you got to meet this guy. So I did. And it turns out we had this shared, really deep passion for consumer products and design. And it turned out this fellow is one of the co-founders of a company called Method. If you know Method, it's a household cleaning products company and dish soap company. So his name's Eric Ryan, one of the two co-founders. And we had this amazing bonding session over a consumer product that never existed in America. And I couldn't believe he had it. He couldn't believe I had it. Like how odd that we both had this thing from 20 years earlier, like under a bed or in a closet somewhere. And I said, so I heard you have some idea that's keeping you up at night. What is it? And he said, oh, it's, cleaning products. I think this is the quote. He said, I think cleaning products suck. And I was like, that's very eloquent. Why do you say that? And he said, because the single biggest thing you purchase as a consumer is your home. And the stuff you use to take care of it is so ugly, you have to hide it, and so toxic, you have to lock it up. And I was like, that's awesome. And I said, now that you say that, I think cleaning products suck too, but I think they suck because culturally, everything's changed, and all these brands were created when women were supposed to deep clean the house every day and watch P&G sponsored television, which is why they're called soap operas during the day, because a soap company paid for the production of the shows. And and all these women back then, they smoked cigarettes and cleaned up and were sad that they hadn't married an astronaut because that was like the height of sophistication back, in the time when all these brands were created, right? And because it was about better living through chemistry and the space race, all the brands had X's in the name: Ajax and Windex and Borax and Oxidol, and Comet kept the space race theme going, but didn't have an X, so it was a very interesting brand. And I'm like, that's not how people live anymore. Like, oh, that's right. Women don't sit around deep clean the house every day, leaving the sports page and a martini glass by the front door for their, male counterparts. Like, culturally, we have moved so far beyond this stuff, and these brands haven't caught up. And he was like, you get it. Like, you're right. And long story short, I ended up leading the original investment in Method, and I was a founding board member in Method. And, I learned so much from those guys, and, this big idea, which was also part of it, was to bring design to these everyday things, which is obviously something I get very excited about. So fast forward, Method became Method. They entered the Inc. 500 at number 7 as the 7th fastest growing private company in America. They were like Target's poster child as a brand. I learned a lot. So yeah, Method was tremendous. Method's now owned by SC Johnson, a family company. And the founders are great guys and continue to do incredible things. And I started a company after that to make other companies and make brands. And I made this product. I'm looking to see if I have one called EOS. If you guys know EOS. I don't expect you to, but I know a lot of women know this product. There's a lip balm that's shaped like a little sphere.
I've seen
And,
that.
Yeah, I see that. Yes.
yeah. So EO.
Yeah.
So I sat with a sculptor at my conference room table and made this product, and basically made most of the flavors for my wife.
Wow.
Because when you're designing things, typically it comes from it should anyway, if it's really going to be artful and tasteful and meaningful and have some magic, it should come from a place of, hopefully some deep emotional resonance.
Mhm.
So I made a bunch of things for my wife, flavor wise, and I made this because I mean, lip balm, if people knew what they were putting on their lips, they would freak. The average woman ingests like 5 pounds of petrochemicals in her lifetime just from lip product. So I wanted something that was that was organic, natural, because whether you think you're ingesting it or not, you are, and findable and beautiful, sculpted, immaculate. And I started the company with a women's shave cream, actually, before there was a lip balm. And anyway, so EOS became kind of a thing. This thing changed the lip care category dramatically. It grew the entire lip care category, according to a big research firm, by about 4.5 times. Just this thing. It sold, well over 1 billion units. And it's pretty crazy. It's a piece of art you get to use and live with every day. And then I started up Hello. I mean, I did a couple other things too. I've worked with some big brands and some interesting smaller brands. And I started Hello because I wanted to reinvent oral care, because you can't disintermediate it, right? You can't say, oh my God, I'm really nervous about, the election. I'm going to brush my teeth 10 times today. Or, I'm really nervous about the election. I'm not brushing my teeth for 2 weeks. Like, you can't, the stock market, I wonder what it's going to do. Honey, we better not brush our teeth for at least a week. It's just like you can't disintermediate it. And oral health and whole body health are inextricably linked. And it's the same story. Like, if most people realized what they had been putting in their body, their heads would explode. So I looked at oral care, and everything in the category to me seemed to be kind of like the narrative was very similar to household cleaning, ironically enough.
Yeah.
It was kind of like with big household cleaning brands, the story is kind of, you need to kill, eliminate, and destroy odors, germs, and bacteria. Right. So here's this toxic stuff, spray it around your house. You're protecting your loved ones. You're at war with dirt, and, all's fair in love and war. So arm yourself and nuke the shit out of everything, and, spray it all over your house and clear out your oven and, all this kind of stuff. Right. And I thought, oral care, that's kind of the same story. There's this war waging in your mouth, and you have to kill, eliminate, and destroy odors, germs, and bacteria. It's kind of like, that story worked really well with this household cleaning stuff. Where else can we tell that story? Oh yeah, in the bathroom, in your mouth. It's great. So they made all this toxic nonsense.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it also reminded me a lot of laundry, because with laundry, all these brands would talk about whiter whites and brighter brights. Like, use this stuff and, your clothing will have whiter whites and brighter brights. The stains will come out. And guess what? Same shit for your teeth, right? Whiter whites and brighter brights.
Yeah.
and I thought, this is the most unfriendly category I've ever seen. Like, you go to the dentist scared out of your mind.
Sure.
You are 6 months late for your appointment because you didn't want to go and you got busy and nothing hurt, and I'll go later. You start flossing the week before your appointment that you're already 6 months late for, and you're scared the dentist is going to drill, fill, and bill you, and you're just happy if you survive getting out of the chair, unscathed, right? And everything else in the category literally is like designed, I thought anyway, to scare you. If you're not whitening, you're frightening. If your breath is freaky and reeky, I like to say you're not going to get paid, you're not going to get laid, you're not going to get the job, and you're not going to get the kiss at the end of the date. Like, it's just all doom and gloom and fear mongering. And I had this epiphany, literally, like, this all hit me very quickly. I was walking through a drugstore, and I walked by the oral care set, and I'm a hyper visual person. And I just saw all these pictures of extracted teeth on products. I mean, I'll show you one. Like, there's, I don't know if it's really coming through. But, deep clean. It's so deep you can see the roots, right? Like, why are you showing me extracted teeth? I thought the whole point of using these things is that I don't see extracted teeth. They stay in my mouth. So, like, none of this made sense to me. It just was really goofy. So I thought, this is a huge category. It's a $40 billion global daily use category, and they're scaring the shit out of people. So what can I do? And what's the friendliest thing I could think of? And I thought of the word hello. I thought it was the friendliest word like on the planet, basically.
Mhm.
And I looked at some of the ingredients in oral care, and I'm not a chemist. And even as a non-chemist, I was surprised by some of the ingredients I saw. I was like, saccharin, that's an artificial sweetener. Didn't they ban that from diet sodas like 30 years ago? Why is that in oral care? And I just started digging in, and I was like, this is crazy. So I trademarked the word hello all over the world, not just a logo. You do that a little later. I like literally had the word mark, the word. It could be bold, uppercase, underlined, italics, didn't matter. So I trademarked the word hello all over the world, which was quite an undertaking, but I did it. And I
Yeah.
met a formulator along the way, and I was like, I want to make oral care products that are delicious, because most oral care products kind of taste like, kind of yucky, or you just don't think about it. You're like, well, I have to use it, and you just kind of get through it. And I was like, I want something that's delicious, and oh yeah, it goes in your mouth. It's going in your body. I want it to be as natural as possible. So, that was it. And and here's hello.
Hello.
And I'll show you my favorite thing, which no one should do. This is fluoride free. We make fluoride products too, but this is fluoride free. But
This is a throwback. Oh my God. Sure Foods, please take some screenshots.
So I'm eating, for those of you listening and not watching, I just ate a whole bunch of toothpaste, but fluoride free toothpaste, no fluoride. Yeah, so I was very, prescriptive about what goes in and what doesn't go in, and where we source things and where we make things, and it's made in America, and it's vegan, and our mint growers are 4th generation women-owned farms in Oregon, and the big idea was to make a better product and make it affordable for everybody. I didn't want to be, like some highfalutin brand. Everybody has to brush their teeth, and everybody deserves something fun and friendly and delicious and effective and natural, and for their kids too. So anyway, fast forward, I started the company. It was me, 3 people, and a dog. And it wasn't all like a straight shot. There were many times where I thought, we're going out of business. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen. And, suffering through and having people that stuck with it, because I'm lucky enough to be here talking to you, but I have a whole team of people that are like, we're family. It's amazing. And they're brilliant and really industrious. And between us, we survived, and we went on to become the fastest growing oral care brand in America. We have the #1 natural mouthwash and toothpaste in Walmart and at Target. We have the #1 oral care product across Dollar General.
Yeah.
And, and it just doesn't stop. The other year, we went from 19,000 to over 45,000 doors of distribution. We're killing it on Amazon, on Target.com, Walmart.com, Grove Collaborative, Thrive Market. I stopped counting at 85 countries asking us for product. And I say countries, but I mean large retailers in some of the largest places in the world.
Yeah.
And we're really fortunate. We just launched deodorant. It's in Dollar General. They're the first place to take it. We now have the #1 and #2 natural deodorant SKUs in Dollar General. The products are great. The packaging is 100% post-consumer recycled material, and it's fully recyclable, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it just keeps growing and going. And oh yeah, we were acquired by Colgate, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
And it's been amazing. And now I have sort of this dual role situation. I'm the friendly founder, as you so rightly stated, of Hello. And when you're the founder, you're kind of always the founder, right? It's the gig, and I love it. I'm not saying that with a frown. It's fantastic. And I'm also now the Chief Innovation Strategist for Colgate, which Colgate is amazing. And people say to me, they're like, "Oh, you're an entrepreneur and you sold out, and you're done. You're done." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Or they go like, like people see like Porky Pig with dollar signs, popping out of his head, like you're like out of his eye sockets, right? Like it's get rich quick, I'm like, that's not, like I said earlier, money has never been my motivator. And my happiest day was when I got to tell our team that we were joining Colgate. And I say that not because, oh yeah, you had an exit. That word is a ridiculous word. We'll talk about that in a second. But what made me so happy was not one person asked me the valuation, what's my equity worth? Let's
Yeah.
talk about the cap table. The only question I was asked, no joke, was the reactions were, "Oh my God, do we still get to work together?" And that's when I knew that I had really been a part of something very special. And Colgate, to their credit, they didn't say like, "Okay, we'll take it from here." They're like, "This is amazing." And Colgate is the biggest oral care company in the world, but they're also the single most penetrated brand on planet Earth. More households have Colgate than any other brand. Over 60%, I think it's like 62% of every household in the world has Colgate in it.
Wow.
The next nearest most penetrated brand in the world is Coca-Cola at 40%. Wow. So it's a pretty big delta, right?
Yeah.
So here's Colgate, this incredible company, very humble company, very quiet company, no swagger, ego, bravado. We're the number one. Like, no one talks about that. I don't even know if I should be talking about it, but I'm just so excited. So I hope nobody gets upset with me that I'm sharing this magical nugget about Colgate. But it's an incredible company, and it's not about exiting. This is about there's a really cool new chapter. So and to be the Chief Innovation Strategist, I got to give a lot of props to Colgate, because I'm like, do they know I don't like tuck in my shirt and I only wear jeans, and I don't really know how to shave, and socks are optional with me most of the time, and but and I'm half serious and half joking about that, but really maybe I'm 5'7" serious. To their credit, they're like, we want to think differently, and we want to learn from you, and anything we as Colgate can do to help you with your mission and your purpose, it's yours. Like, we'll help you, and other than that, like, just keep doing what you're doing with Hello. And now I'm very fortunate because I get to work with a whole bunch of brilliant people. There's about 35,000 people over 200 countries around the world, and just to give you an idea of what a cool company it is and how equally passionate and really, really, really smart. I mean, you don't get to be the most penetrated brand in the world because you're not smart, right? They are just brilliant people there, and they're incredible at executing, and they're just lovely. Like, they are really, truly purpose driven. So I had just started, right? We had closed on our the transactional stuff, and I'm in this role, and COVID hits. I mean, we had closed just before COVID. It was very, very end of January, and I got to use the royal we for the first time, talking about myself in relation to Colgate. And I said, aren't we the royal we? Aren't we the largest producer of liquid hand soap in the world? And yes. And doesn't washing of hands help prevent the spread of bacteria and really disease for anything, including COVID? Yes. Well, stores are going to be closing. People are going to be staying in. What if we sort of, held off on some end of the year stuff that you might be thinking about spending money on, and we took, those economics, and we applied them to making soap and giving soap to people in the most dire need? Great idea. Next thing you know, I'm on an email with these incredible super senior people in Colgate, and we partnered with the World Health Organization, and we made 25 million bars of soap.
Wow.
And we distributed it with the World Health Organization, and we donated $20 million plus worth of cleaning products, and we also gave some additional monies. But we did all this in like a few weeks, and product has gone to, I can't even tell you the number of countries, so many countries, but literally it's to frontline workers and those in the most dire need for something that seems so basic to us in this part of the world as cleaning products, including hand soap.
Yeah.
Bar soap, liquid soap. And it was amazing. And I watched, this giant organization rally, this enterprise, this global enterprise say, that's the right thing to do. Let's go do it. And they did it. And it's incredible. So I feel very fortunate to be part of a group like that. And, and they also have a sense of humor, right? So I was telling you before, I was making fun of, Colgate and, extracted teeth. But then look at that. So, company that can do that, that's like they can do that and they can do that, right? They can help people. Nothing's more important than helping people, right? But they can also, do some things that are like very quiet, like there's no fanfare. It's very chill.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a treat. I feel again I'm like the luckiest person ever. So not just because I'm here on Uncorked, because I feel very lucky. I'm not kidding. You're laughing, but I feel very, very lucky. And and I get to work with incredible people and have wonderful conversations like this. So yeah, Colgate is really amazing. Hello continues to grow. Colgate's, more entrepreneurial than I think they even realize in some ways. And I'm excited to be part of Colgate and helping to unlock and unleash a lot of entrepreneurial thinking and spirit that's there and may not have had the most direct outlet to take ideas and turn them into creativity as quickly as we're doing now, which is really cool. So I feel, again, extremely fortunate. And they're just great, brilliant, purpose-driven people. So yeah, that's it. Just keep making stuff and, bring some magic to the everyday. That's it.
This has been like the most exciting 30 minutes I've had all day today.
Well, you are very kind, and I'm sorry. That says a lot about your level of boredom. We gotta get you, get you more active. If this is the best 30 minutes.
I was gonna say for me probably the whole month, Craig. That was so man, it's incredible. And me and Sid, we were talking like, will Craig chuck toothpaste or not?
Oh, sure. Only fluoride free. Never eat fluoride. Fluoride's a really great ingredient, and there's some people who really are anti-fluoride. That's cool. If you're anti-fluoride, I totally respect that. We like to say we respect a brusher's right to choose. But yeah, I never eat fluoride toothpaste because fluoride can kill you. It's great for your teeth. It's great to brush your teeth. Never ingest it.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. But yeah, happy to eat fluoride. I licked some deodorant the other day for somebody. They got really freaked out, so I won't do that for you guys. But my tongue doesn't sweat anymore. I didn't know. No, just kidding. But I did lick the deodorant, and I can't really recommend deodorant licking. Even hello, it's lovely, and I did lick it, but I wouldn't recommend anybody do it.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, Craig. That was incredible, Craig. Honestly, I think you also I know a lot, just the whole narrative and the way you it's incredible, Craig. Love your story. So much respect for all your work and the impact you've made so far, Craig. It's really humbling for us, me and Sid and the Uncorked team to be here and have you here. And
well, you're very kind. Thank you.
That's amazing. Sid, what's next? What's next? Because we have
what's next? Yeah. What do you got? Hit me up.
So I was making a list of questions, and then I just got really deeply involved in your story that I was watching it like a movie at some point.
We forgot our script, Craig. I'm sorry.
Well, hey, that's okay. It's, the best stuff happens like improv, ad lib. That's how you do it.
Exactly. Craig, one question I do have is where you are today, this is way more than a goal that many hope to achieve. Right. You're at a place right now where you're able to make so much impact by everything that you do. Like you said, for example, the lip balm that you sort of helped design. Then there's things you're working with Hello, which, by the way, how many products does Hello have right now?
Oh, we have a bunch. I mean, adult toothpaste, kids toothpaste, and then lots of sort of varieties within, fluoride, fluoride-free, sensitivity relief toothpaste. We have a whole line of CBD toothpaste. And mouthwash. That's awesome. And we have deodorant now. We have lip balm that we just launched. We have a CBD lip balm that we launched earlier in the year, but now we have a brand new lip balm that just launched in Walmart and on our website. That's really cool. Oh, something I'm really psyched about that took me a long time to sort of get people on board with and get done. I had this. I was going to say I had this crazy idea, but that's like par for my particular course. I kind of have a crazy idea, like a couple times a day. But I had this particular crazy idea, which was, all right, we're an oral care brand, even though now we're a personal care brand because we're getting into the other categories and stuff. But that was always the plan, by the way. It's Hello Products. It was never Hello Oral Care Inc. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we've got all these oral care products in particular. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to not just be the brand that gives you, like a little sample tube on your way out, thanks for coming to the dentist, and here's your little goodie bag, and here's a new toothbrush and a new thing of toothpaste. As great as that is, I said, wouldn't it be cool to be the brand that actually got you to go to the dentist in the first place? Like, is there something cool we could do up front as opposed to just at the end?
Yeah.
And at the end is fine. We're happy to give people little tubes of toothpaste too. Don't get me wrong. But I really thought, wouldn't it be funky if we could like get people to go? And I'm like, why don't most people go? And I'm like, because their insurance doesn't cover everything. It's expensive. Even if your company pays for it, if you're lucky, it doesn't really cover much. Younger people don't really go with any real frequency anyway. They're still out of pocket. And there were a lot of other, issues around going to the dentist, right? Beyond like the psychological issues, right? Fear and things. So very long story short, the economics of going to the dentist were certainly a big barrier. And I had this idea, like, I want to get people to go to the dentist. And we partnered with this company, and we have this amazing thing that we launched just a couple of weeks ago. It's called the Hello Dental Pass. And for $20, you can go online. You could search. There's over 80,000 dental practices in America that are part of this thing. So chances are your dentist that you may currently go to, that, by the way, you're late for your appointment, you're like several months behind. Your dentist is probably part of this thing.
Wow.
And you go onto our website, you put in, your zip code, look up your dentist, or a dentist if you don't have one. And for $20, you can basically save anywhere between like 25 and 50% on basically any dental procedure at that dentist for $20. And it comes with other little things too. Like if you need medication, you can get prescription drugs at a big discount, and you can get, eye stuff at a big discount, but it's meant really truly for oral care first. Yeah. So for $20, it's like all you could eat for 30 days. You can go to the dentist as often as you want. You call up and you book your appointment just like you normally would. You say, oh, I've got this pass, and they'll tell you how much you're going to save. Like it's all pre-negotiated, ready to go. There's no insurance. There's no forms to fill out. There's like nothing. Like you get an instant card. You'll get it on your phone. You can get a thing in the mail, and off you go to the dentist and save, serious bucks. So we're really psyched about that. I love trying to come up with new business models for everyday things. And that's, I think, a funky new approach. And we're psyched about that. It's, it's bite-sized, to pardon the pun, to use the word bite sized. But, it's not a big expense. You'll save a lot of money, and it's not a forever thing. It's like 30 days. Go as often as you want in 30 days. And if you want to do it for a whole year, you can spend $99 and use it for a whole year. If you got a family, you can do it too. So it's really cool. And we think it's a terrific alternative. It's not insurance. Again, it's just like huge savings, but a lot of people, again, their dental insurance doesn't cover much. So we're psyched about that. And we're living in strange times, and a lot of people are out of work. They can't afford to go. They don't have any insurance. And a lot of, going and getting yourself checked out of the dentist is really important. There's a lot of things with gum health and cardiac health, and they could identify lots of different problems just by a trained professional looking at your mouth. So we think it's, from a health perspective, it's going to be a big deal. And again, saving people money is always great. So at Hello, I like to say we're for the 100%, not for the 1%. Everything we do is for everybody, not for, a tiny subset. It's not for the 99%, it's for the 100%. So more to come. That's, lots more.
That sounds like an amazing initiative, and it's quite different from the rest of the things that you've been sort of in the works along with the products and stuff. This really comes in as like a really good package altogether.
Yeah, really excited.
So one of my questions was, back when you were starting off and you were 20 years old and you were really into these ideas, right? You were telling us about how you are always an entrepreneur throughout high school, throughout college, and you were always dreaming of these things. If you go back to that stage, what would you tell yourself? Like when is the right point to sort of jump in full-heartedly in an idea that you believe in strongly?
That's a great question. I personally, again, all this is personal, right? Everybody's different. But for me, I had, and sort of have, no fear of failure. I literally only have fear of not trying, because I feel like if you don't try, you've already failed. So like, what's the big deal? Do what you can to uncover as much information about a potential new venture, so you can, mitigate as much risk and potential harm as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, now we have the worldwide interwebs, right? I said that I took out the only book, and I think it was like brought over from another school's library on how to write a business plan, right? Now there's the AIM Center. There are all these resources, right? We didn't have any of that stuff. So I would say do as much work as you can, because there are ways to research everything now, and don't have fear of trying, and don't have fear of asking for help, because the key thing is, people are like, you're a founder, like founders are, that's great. I tell everybody hello, I'm like, you're a founder. Think of yourself as a founder. At our holiday dinner last year, when you can have a holiday dinner, I told everybody, I made my toast, and I just said, you're all founders. I said, I'm the founder, but you're all founders. Like, you have to, you want to take pride and ownership in anything you're doing, even if you're working at some big company or a startup and you're not the founder. You got to behave like it's your thing, and if you're not in love with it, don't do it. That's the other thing. So let me back up. Fear of not trying versus fear of failure, right? Like, I don't fear failure. Fear, like, wake up nervous in a cold sweat that you didn't try. And then do all the work you can to mitigate things. Research the heck out of anything, because now you can. It wasn't easy to do that before, And if someone else has a similar idea, so what? There was Friendster and Napster before there was Spotify. Like, it doesn't, it's just like, does that stuff really matter? Is there a way to make it better? Right? So don't worry about that. Just go for it. Yeah, that's it. As my old self to my young self, I'm glad that my parents instilled in me this sense that, like, what do you have to lose? Like you should go for things. Like, try. So I say that now, and I know it seems easy, right? Oh, you're an entrepreneur. You've had these businesses. People know your brands. You've had some quote unquote success. That's not what gets me going. What gets me going is, I got to try this new thing. Like, you got to figure out what you love. That's the other secret thing. Like, what do you love? And it sounds hokey. It sounds very soft, right? Like, oh, what do I love? Oh, I love, puppy dogs and daffodils, and but if you can figure out what you love, whether it's people or toothpaste, no, just kidding. You might love many other things outside of people and toothpaste. I hope most people do. I hope they love things other than toothpaste and people. But people are good to love. I would say that what you put into that thing you love will never feel like work, as trite as it sounds. All these things that sound trite, it's because they're true, basically. Like, these are very common human realities, right? Like, if you love something, it feels good when you love something, right? A person, your favorite food, whatever it might be, right? That's a lovely feeling. Imagine if you could have that feeling all the time, and especially if you could have that feeling all the time and know you were helping other people, either helping them have a job and security and income, or helping other people because your product is fulfilling on a need that's unmet, emotional or physical or otherwise. If you figure out what you love, you will work so hard at it, and it'll never feel like work, because you're doing the thing you love. And if what you love is trying to get to the bottom of a burning question because you love the exploratory, that's great too. Like, dig in deep. It'll never feel like work, ever, ever, ever. And because it doesn't feel like work, and it's what you love, you will work so hard at it, but it'll never feel like a burden. And because if you work hard at anything, generally, you will probably get pretty good at it, generally, right? I don't want to overstate, because I know a lot of people that have been playing guitar for a long time, and I want to, like, put earplugs in and run away. But and I'm talking about myself more than anything. But I think I think if you can figure out what you love and you work really hard at it and you're enjoying the work, you will get really good at that thing, and nothing will stop you, because it's what you love, and who's going to stop you, right? So yeah, don't stop thinking about, what do I love? And even if it seems dire, like, shit, I don't have a job. Like, who is this guy telling me I better think about something I love. I speak to a lot of students, a lot of recent graduates, a lot of entrepreneurs that are still in school. I work with lots of students, at least I try to, because I didn't have any resources like that when I was at school.
Yeah.
And I always tell them that, because I mean, I have this happen a lot. They just tell me, well, I don't know, I need a job. It's like, that's not a way to get a job. Like, and I tell them real stories, because I have people that come in and they're like, oh, I really like your brand, or, I'm just looking for a job. And they'll be recent graduates, and I can tell sometimes they're reading off their spreadsheet of the things that they think they're supposed to have achieved by a certain stage in their career, or they tell me some other nonsense. And I'm like, just time out. And I've told our team, by the way, I'm like, if they haven't used our product, don't have them meet with me, because it's just rude. Like, it's $4, right?
True.
It's available everywhere. You have teeth. Like, if you haven't used our product and you're coming to spend time with us, like, that's just insane. But I have to tell you, I share this because I can't even tell you how many people have done that. And I tell them, I never get mad. I just say, I said, let me share this with you. I said, you're coming to me and you're telling me all the things you want and you need, but you haven't told me a single thing that you would do to make Hello better.
Sure.
And on top of it, you haven't even used our product. Like, how could you come here and tell us about all the things, you think you could do, or all the things you expect to have in your career, when you don't even, like, you haven't even used our product and you have teeth? If you had no teeth, I'd say, okay, you don't have any teeth, that's all right. But, like, you have teeth and you're coming here, and I can't even tell you how many times this happens. And imagine someone else that comes in and goes, I love your product. Even if they're lying, right? Which I hope they're not. I love your product. I use your product. My favorite. I love when people come in and I say, oh, like, what's your favorite? And they make up something, and I'm like, oh my God, it's not even like something we have. and sometimes, and it's not because it's like such a good idea. They're not like, oh, you'll be really great. Like, oh, my favorite one is I used your ashwagandha kombucha paste, and I'd be like, wow, ashwagandha kombucha paste. Kind of interesting. It's some like you can tell when people are bullshitting, right? But there are people, and they come in, they have no clue, and I'm like, so imagine someone else who comes in and goes, oh, my favorite, I loved when you guys made your special edition empowerment toothpaste that was all around voting, and I thought it was really great, and I loved it, and I bought it online, and I posted on Instagram, and by the way, I've done all this thinking about your brand, and have you ever thought about XYZ? So imagine that person versus the person that's like, well, I went to this school for this, I've worked at this company for that, I'm a director level now, but I'm anticipating being a associate, blah 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 blah, in the next 6 months, and I'm at the next pay grade, and I should have 3 weeks of paid vacation, and I'm looking to build brand equity for the brands that I work on, and versus someone who's like, I love it, I love your stuff, I have these 10 ideas for you, and even if they're 10 ideas that we've thought of, I'm like, we're operating on the same wavelength. They invested time. They thought about our brand and our product. They thought about what they could bring to the party, and they brought it. Versus someone who's like, I want this, I expect that. And I can't even tell you how many people are like that.
True.
Are like the former versus the latter. It's incredible. So if you're looking for a job, this is the other thing I will share. I had a mentor that I was so thick, I didn't even realize he was a mentor to me. And he had known me basically my entire professional life. He's a lovely, lovely person. Unfortunately, he was struck by a drunk driver, and he was killed in a horrible motorcycle accident. And but he was an amazing guy. And he told me, he's like, he knew me my entire professional life. And I saw him a few weeks before he was, he had this tragic thing happen. And he said, yeah, you and I have both made every job we've ever had. And I was like, oh my God, he's right. I never applied for a job ever. I met somebody, or I told them I thought there was something that, I would do the work, or I had an idea and I would share it. Yeah. I wasn't sharing it like, well, what are they going to give me for it? Like, I see that a lot too. Like, I have an idea, you're going to pay me. I'm like, I give stuff away all the time. Because the more it's true. It's like the more you give away, the more you get, right? True. It's really, really true. It sounds, again, it's trite, but it's not. It is true. So yeah, I made every job I ever had. I would meet somebody and I would do the work, and I'd say, have you ever thought about this and this and this and this and this? And they would say, I didn't, and I don't know how to do that, but like, could you do that? And I was like, sure. Could you trade? Could you come up with this thing? We'll give you $400,000. Okay. Like, yeah. Like, but I had already done the work. Like, I had uncovered all this mispricing, right? Going back to my commodities story. So, I either made a company or started something or was willing to be so passionate about something that I would convince other people to do work for me for nothing and then make it up for them. Because nothing's free, and it's not fair to ask people to do work for free, right? But if someone's going to believe in you and trust you and invest in you, you got to take exceptional care of those people. So, that's what I would say. It's like, I think we're living in amazing times, right? Forget about COVID, forget about unemployment numbers. Those are horrific things. And I hope these things pass sooner rather than later for all the obvious reasons. But whenever there's challenge, whenever there are challenging times, there are opportunities. There are, and you could either like get scared or get nervous or not be sure, or you could do the work. Do the work. Do your, like, and I can't even have many people go, well, I don't have an idea. You had a really good idea. You're an idea person. Do you, like, is there a magic, like lightning rod that comes out of, my posterior that when I want an idea, I just unfurl the thing and a lightning bolt strikes? Like, actually, yes, that's exactly what happens. But that's why I'm only here, from the chest up. I don't want anyone to see my lightning rod. But no, like, you work hard. You gotta put in the work. And again, figure out what you love. Like, I love design. I love everyday things. I love brand. I love storytelling. I love people. So I wanted to build a company that had culture and people at the core of what we created and the way we behave with one another, so we could create even more cool things. That's what I loved. And I was able to convince people to quit jobs, and I was able to convince people to invest, and I was able to convince, retailers to believe and build a portfolio, right? And build a set of experiences that led people to place additional faith in some of my crazy ideas, because I kept working really hard at them. They don't all work, by the way. So think about what you love, because then when it fails, you'll be like, I'm not stopping. That's the other key thing. It's like, if you have a significant other, have you ever gotten in a fight? Yeah. Have you ever disagreed about something? Yeah. But if you love them, it's like you work it out and you punch through the other side and you get better. You figure out how to work at things and work at relationships and work at how you engage with people. So anyway, don't give up. Keep thinking, what would make this thing better? How can I make it better? What work can I do to make this thing better? And just keep having at it. But again, if you don't love it, it's going to be like work and it's going to suck. So I don't know.
Just it's been over an hour. I know we've kept you way longer than you signed up for.
I'm uncorked, man. We can do this all night.
Oh, really?
I'm just kidding. It's good. Listen, anytime you could use the brand multiple times, you should. So we should say Uncorked at least 5 or 6 more times before this call is over.
For sure. So here's the plan. I want to give Shafuz time to ask one question.
Yeah.
And after that, we can wrap up. And I need you to say a special message for the next segment, but I'll get to it right then. It's something we're doing for the YouTube algorithm.
Cool. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Go ahead with your question.
Is that on me? Okay. Craig, I kind of want to ask you about a failure or some of the mistakes you made as a founder. I guess we probably made a lot of mistakes. Like, everyone does, my God. Right?
How much time we got?
We want to get a your time.
A lot of failure.
Yeah, I guess, Craig, which one hurt the most, or which one was the biggest learning one for you? Tell us about it a bit.
Well, I always say I'll only make new mistakes. I'm going to make plenty of mistakes, but as you get on with it, you realize I'm only going to make new ones. And as you get older, like what you try to figure out, and just more experience, not like just older. When you make a mistake, you fix it quick, right? Because you're like, aha, this is a mistake. How quickly can we adjust it? Now we use fancy words like pivot, but that's like the very very esoteric and lovely G-rated word, right? Or maybe PG. Pivot. But it used to be like, oh shit, I fucked up. Now it's pivot. So let's see, the biggest sort of mistake. like a specific one. I've made some of the same mistakes more than once, which is very painful. It's very painful to make the same mistake and not realize you're making the same mistake. I've had, let's see, for hello here, I'll show you a very practical mistake. It was a very practical mistake. So I love design. I hate waste. I think simplicity is a magical thing that most people really crave and sometimes don't even know how important simplicity is. Think about Google, right? Mm-hmm. It's a dialogue box. You put in whatever you want. Boom. There's nothing but complexity happening behind the scenes. It's very hard to do simple, right? So I'm into simplicity. I looked at toothpaste. I had a really funky brief, and because I had this insight that as soon as you use a tube of toothpaste, it's ugly. It crinkles up. I wanted something that was really different, that didn't have a box on the outside, because I'm like, secondary packaging, that's a waste. You rip open the box and you throw it away, or maybe hopefully you recycle it, but still a waste. It still has to be made and shipped, and there's just, there's inefficiencies there, right? So I worked with an amazing design firm. I worked with actually BMW, the design team at BMW, and we designed this really incredible thing. And here it is. And it was it wasn't a tube, so it's called a toddle. It's like a combination of a bottle and a tube. And this thing was, everything I made was custom. I had to build the tools to make the individual components that go into this thing. Wow. It had 7 layers of material, an 8th soft touch layer, because I was like, this should feel amazing. I had a special barrier layer sandwiched into these layers. And because of what that barrier layer did, I didn't have any preservatives in the product. It was amazing. And volumetrically, I could fit basically like almost 3 tubes worth of this in this thing. Wow. And I could literally, because of the way it was constructed, and the structural integrity of the thing, I could stack 2 additional layers on a pallet when I was shipping it. Like, there were all these efficiencies, right? So I was so in love with the idea that I was going to have all these amazing efficiencies, and that it was this beautiful design. It was going to be wildly different than anything anyone had seen. Well, it was so much so was it wildly different and nothing anyone had seen, that nobody bought it. It was a huge, epic fail. Epic fail. Because people thought it was a hand lotion. And next to something else on the shelf that was this big, this thing looked like, why is that? Like, why would I buy that little thing? Yeah. No one was like, oh, it has a lot of ounces of product in there. People were like, what the hell is it? They thought it was hand lotion, right? They were just like, I don't know what that is. So that's one of those things where you got to go, all right, I was very idealistic. I had this big dream. And by the way, I still have all these dreams. And now I'm coming up with more evolved ways of creating all those savings, environmental savings that I mentioned, but using things that are a little bit more, let's just say, thoughtful to the way humans actually function right now, as opposed to my dream and who cares about anybody else. So if there's anything I've learned along the way with that particular example, it's that as much as you may have things swirling around your brain and it's like your dream and your vision, you don't want to be so blind to reality that you miss out on things. So that's one thing I'd point out. The other thing is be really, really careful about, it's everything you do is about people, right? You can be a founder, you can have the greatest idea, but everything you do is still based on other people. So just be really, really mindful about the people you might partner with outside your organization, the people you might partner with inside your organization, other founders you may have, investors you may take in. And what I mean by that is, it's not to say that people are nefarious or, there's nothing like that. It's just, you have to understand that it does take a lot of people. Founders get a lot of credit, and that's terrific. And I'm incredibly appreciative. I try to be of the team all the time. Yeah. We don't always agree on everything. I'm a pain in the ass. I don't think anything is ever really good enough. I don't think anything's happened fast enough. I like ever. Every day's Monday and I'm late, and let's go. I know I'm crazy. I literally fret over things like, what sound does this make when you close it? Like I made this cap in Italy. I had to go because I had to approve things on the line because I couldn't find anyone to make as low a profile butterfly hinge as this thing has, and except for this one place in Italy, and make it so it like made a certain sound so that there would be this positive association orally, AURALL, and physically, like you would get a certain level of feedback when you clicked it. Like I'm obsessive about design and materials and material science, and everything communicates. So make sure when you're choosing people to be with you that they share some of the same passions, that you have empathy for them and their needs, and that they have some empathy for you too. Mm-hmm. And it'll all work out.
Wow.
Craig, I have to say, that walkthrough of the product, it was like a product demo. It was just like I was watching the Apple keynote.
Oh man,
I could feel the same passion, and like when you were describing the product, you were like, this sound, it just brings sort of memories from the keynote. It's like your passion for the product is so much.
It's insane.
You can see it.
Oh, thank you. That's probably why I go back to really saying, like, think of something you love. Like, you have to love it. Because if you do, you'll get into the details, these tiny details that will mean so much to you. And chances are, they might mean, like, no one may discover it. It may go undiscovered, right? But there's someone else who's going to be like, wow, like, I didn't know that, toothpaste could taste that good. Or, wow, no one, my significant other isn't calling me an idiot because I'm squeezing the wrong end of the tube. Because I was very prescriptive that the tubes needed to like, literally, I don't know if you can see this, but like, I'm not squeezing it, right? It's just going to keep coming back.
Oh, wow.
And because, like it just keeps coming back.
Yeah.
Other toothpaste tubes don't do that.
Don't do that. So,
it doesn't make them bad people. Just means that they're not as psychotic as I am about these little things. So I like to say we're saving relationships and saving marriages because no one's going to call you, a dummy for squeezing the wrong end of the tube because you made it look nasty. Like there should be no wrong end of the tube.
True. Wow.
So yes.
All right.
That's incredible.
Sorry, go ahead, Shafuz.
Huh? No, I was gonna say I'm being cautious of the time.
We're going on. Listen, I have a question for you. So Shafuz, tell me the haircut. When did you get the haircut? Because I watched that opening video, and you had you were rocking a totally different coif, and now I see ear. I mean, before there was no ear going on. You got ear. You got 2 ears. I mean, it's a whole new look. When did this happen?
It happened last month actually. It happened last month. I think I got that COVID haircut like most people, which is literally by my own hands, and I used like that trimmer. And I thought I wanted to do like the different sizes of the clips and stuff, and I wanted to do a cool like style to it. Then I realized I messed it up so bad. I just like literally took out all the clippers.
It looks good. I'm telling you, you're looking sharp.
Yeah, this was like my haircut after 8 months. So
nice.
I appreciate that, Craig. And that's someone you truly appreciate beauty, right? I could see. I see that.
I am an aesthete through and through. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. So excellent. And Sid, your hair fabulous. I mean, you as well. You've
tried out the man bun. It's been getting feedback so far.
Looking good. So you're keeping healthy and safe. I hope everyone's holding up okay. I know it's a crazy time.
It's definitely a crazy time.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're near towards the light at the end of the tunnel, but a really long tunnel, a really long tunnle.
Yes.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think Sid, we want to jump onto our rapid fire round, but do you want to bucket Craig with another question or so?
No, I think it's time for Craig to get some dinner. Let's wrap this up.
All right, you're very kind.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
What's up? Yeah.
Rapid fire is 5 questions, really quick. We just give you questions, you answer them about your life. There's personal questions.
Wow. All right, I'd say I'm ready, but I don't know that I am. But let's go for it. Let's do it. Bonus round.
Bonus.
Yes.
All right. And before we get started, could you just say smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm?
Could I smash the like button? Where is the like button?
Oh, you just got to tell the people who are watching to do it.
Oh yeah. Hey, hit up the like button. Smash that. Smash it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, let's get us started. So the first question, what is your favorite Hello toothpaste flavor?
Oh, my favorite flavor actually is a flavor we don't make anymore. We had a pink grapefruit mint, and I thought it was
Nice.
awesome. I'm bringing it back. I don't know when, but I got to bring it back. It was magnificent. But other than that, the one I ate is great. It's a anti-plaque and whitening. It's lovely.
Mhm.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, next one, Craig. Any superpower you can have, what would it be?
Any superpower that I could have, what would it be? It would be clearly the ability to fly. I mean, X-ray vision, overrated.
Yeah.
Like breathing underwater, not bad. But flight, the power of flight. Come on, that's pretty badass. So yeah, I'd go with that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and the ability to spell. If I could spell, that'd be good. I'm a terrible speller.
I'll join you on that one. I can't spell at all.
Yes, and I agree with you. All the notes you take, man, it's really hard to read.
I know. Thanks for telling everyone that, Shafuz. I appreciate it. Next question, Craig. What is your favorite college memory?
Oh, clearly, well, actually, it's a tie, right? So I'm married, and I met my wife in college, so that's like right up there.
Yeah.
Another favorite college memory would have to be, let's see, I have so many. My freshman year, like right after my parents dropped me off, I lived in Gilbert basement my freshman year, and I rented. This is so bad. I rented a hot tub, a portable hot tub, and I brought it to the little quad area like behind my room in Gilbert basement, and I plugged it into my room. And I had a hot tub for like the first weekend of school. It was pretty amazing. So that was pretty cool. That was interesting. Another thing that I'm also probably like, I shouldn't say like I'm proud of. I mean, that was just like a fun thing to do. Like, I was, I don't think I was 18 yet, and I rented a hot tub. That was kind of funky. What else did I do that was a really good memory? Let's see. Oh, So I borrowed someone's car, and I went on a date, and I drove the person back to her room and to her dorm, because I'm a chivalrous person, and and I knew that where I was driving was not meant for automobiles, and I was reprimanded by campus security, and I apologized and said, "I'm just being chivalrous," which I was. And I dropped her off, and I got this note, which I probably still have somewhere, from like whichever like dean of disciplinary activity or whatever. They literally quoted the fact that I had said I was being chivalrous, and literally the note said like, while it's great, like I was being applauded and lauded for being chivalrous, the quad is not meant for automotive. Nothing bad happened to me, but that was a fun college memory. And then clearly, like many a garbage plate. Like I haven't eaten meat in a very, very long time, but back when I was a meat eating, a strapping young lad, and not scared to have a ladle of mysterious meat dumped on top of my already mysterious patties of meat, I would go to Nick Tahoe's and have a garbage plate. So yeah, I mean, I have many memories of Nick Tahoe's in the wee hours and loving it, and studying once in a while in the stacks. I was like an old stacks guy, and my favorite place ever, the Wells Brown room.
Oh my god!
Was I would go in there, and you're gonna laugh. I'm a softie, but I would go in there, and I would just write, and I would write poetry, and I would just like that. That room, that place, that was my happy place. And so that's it. Those are all happy Rochester memories. I have many more. I could wax poetic and rhapsodic about many things Rochester.
Wow,
but,
you're taking.
I made my best friends. They're still my best friends. So yeah, Rochester, the greatest. And look at their output. Look at you two. Come on, Rochester's magic. It's great.
Yeah, I think we're good brand ambassadors, I guess. Not
really, yes, totally.
We didn't completely screw up. Since we're here with you, Craig, we didn't completely screw up, right? So I think this is a good bar.
This is great.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay, Craig, next one. What are you looking forward to most in the near future? Something that you're super excited about, personally or like professionally? Even?
Well, apart from the end of COVID and all that stuff, because that's clearly top of mind for everybody. What am I looking forward to next? Launching more beautiful things that people can fall in love with. I love it. I love working with people to create more impactful things, better things.
Mm-hmm.
More thoughtfully designed, sourced, crafted, that aren't going to be wasteful, and that are lovely and that help people. So yeah, more, just better and beautiful things.
Yeah.
And just out of curiosity, this is also the last question, but what is the products behind you on the shelf? Are they things that you've made?
Many of them, not all of them, but many of them. Like I didn't make, all the Colgate stuff I've got up there, but or things I've touched or been around.
Wow.
Lots of stuff. And then just some things that are inspiring. People ask me like, why do you have an exit sign there? And I have an exit sign because I'm dying to go. No, I have an exit sign because exit signs crack me up, because exit signs are red, and the color red typically means stop and not go, right? It means don't go. And usually if you need to find the exit, it's because you gotta go. So it cracks me up that exit signs are red. And also if there were a fire and you really needed to leave, red is not a color that always shows up very well, because a lot of flames have red and orange in them. It's not the easiest color to see. If you were like gray smoke, maybe partially, but there's some other colors that, believe it or not, your eye can pick up on much better than red, including orange, by the way. I see we have a nice orange background. It's why if you look at BMWs in the speedometers, their numbers are orange. It's the most visible color in the spectrum. But anyway, we'll leave that for another discussion. But I a lot of those things are things I've messed with, or they're trinkets from along the way, or some books that I find interesting, and guitars that I keep around, all sorts of guitars, because they keep me, again, very humble.
Wow.
I always say they're 12 notes in a musical scale, but it's really hard to get those 12 notes just right. And no two people seem to be able to play those same 12 notes exactly the same way. Forget about guitars in general. So it's very humbling. When you got it down, you're like, you can watch somebody play or listen to somebody play and be like, how did they do that? That's amazing. So I just think it's very grounding. And come on, it's music. Who doesn't like music?
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Next session, we're going to have you play music for the entire duration of the Uncorked series.
That's awesome. All right. that'd be Uncorked, Unplugged. That was really bad. I'm really sorry. That was like my 87th dad joke of the day. I'm really sorry. Sorry, you guys.
No.
Oh,
right.
God.
Do you want to wrap it up for us with the last one?
Cork it.
Cork it. Yeah.
Hit that like button.
Corking the last question for you, Craig.
Ready.
The last one. Who's your favorite co-host, Sid or myself? You gotta vote.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
You gotta vote.
We have my favorite paste. I had so much trouble with that. So I can't choose. You were both fabulous. I see. Whatever career choices you've made, you've chosen poorly, because I think professional host may have been the clear choice for the two of you. So yes, hosts. You're hosting with aplomb. So nicely done. Thank you for having me.
Wow. Let's bring up the rolling screen and and Craig. We've got this beautiful photo of you, Craig.
Very kind.
I just want to read out your title one time. Chief Innovation Strategist at Colgate and Friendly Founder at Hello Products. I love reading that. It's just
it's very kind. It's very warm.
Smash the like button.
All right. Thanks so much. Who's any closing questions?
Craig, this has been amazing, man. This is such an amazing session. I don't even know how the hour and a half went by. Thank you so much for being so generous with your time.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I'm telling you, when I was in school and even out of school, like no one did this. Nobody, it was really hard to chat with folks. So I feel very, very fortunate to be able to do that. So I try to make myself available, and I appreciate and applaud what you're doing, because you're helping other people. Hopefully you're having some fun yourselves.
Yeah.
You're getting to meet some cool folks, and this is a great service. People need help, and if any of this stuff opens doors or encourages people to think a little bit differently, that's beautiful. I always tell people, you can Skype with me from the website. You can find me on LinkedIn, right? Because that's how we got connected. I think it's great. So thanks
so
for
much.
having me, and congrats on doing what you're doing. And like I said before, like keep safe, keep healthy. I hope Thanksgiving isn't too difficult for anybody, whether you're not traveling or you're by yourselves or you're in a pod or whatever you're doing, but stay put as much as you can. It's freaky.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Craig. It was absolutely wonderful having you here today, and we
Thank
really, really appreciate your time.
Oh, you're so welcome, and thank you for doing what you're doing. And if anything comes up,
Well,
if I can be helpful, let me know.
we will, and hopefully we'll get a chance to all of us to meet up, and maybe on campus or something, and we could all just chug Hello toothpaste together.
There you go. That'd be great. That'd be great.
Put it on TikTok and
Like at Wegmans. I mean, I love Wegmans. There's no Wegmans in Austin. I feel bad for you, but now there's Wegmans in Boston.
Yeah. Yeah, I go there all the time. It's amazing. I love that.
Wegmans is the bomb. All right, cool beans. All right, well, stay safe and healthy and positive, not in the COVID sense. And well, I'll see you soon.
Catch you later.
All right, thanks so much. Bye.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. We want you to join our community.
You do?
Join us by hitting that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the awesome content we have in store for you.
Oh yeah, and one more thing. Make sure to smash that like button. No way, actually, destroy it. We're millennials. We love seeing likes. Catch you next time. Whoop-ow!